Reality may not be a collection of things that simply exist. It may be an ongoing process of becoming, where every present moment inherits the constraints of the past while reshaping the possibilities of the future. Every generation has asked the same great questions. What is reality? What is consciousness? Why does anything exist at all? Philosophers, scientists, mathematicians, and spiritual traditions have approached these mysteries from different directions. Physicists search for the laws governing the universe. Mathematicians reveal patterns woven throughout nature. Spiritual traditions explore consciousness through direct experience. Each perspective contributes something valuable, yet no single discipline fully explains how everything fits together. Perhaps these fields are examining different pieces of the same puzzle. This video explores one possible framework connecting ideas from physics, biology, complexity science, artificial theory, and human experience. It is not presented as established fact, but as a working thesis, an invitation to consider reality from a different perspective. What if reality is not fundamentally made of matter or energy, but of constrained relationships between possibilities? We usually imagine the universe as a collection of objects, atoms, stars, planets, trees, animals, people, and galaxies. But perhaps these objects are stable patterns emerging from an immense network of interactions, with each interaction influencing what becomes possible next. Imagine that every present moment contains not one future, but an entire landscape of possible futures. Some are impossible because the laws of nature do not permit them. Some are so likely that they appear almost inevitable. Most exist somewhere in between, their likelihood continually altered by new conditions. An electron interacting with another particle, a seed beginning to grow, a planet orbiting its star, or a person choosing compassion instead of anger can each reshape that landscape. No single event determines exactly what happens next. Every interaction changes the probabilities of many possible outcomes. Reality may therefore be neither completely predetermined nor completely random. It may unfold through what we might call constrained conditional probabilities. The laws of physics provide the boundaries. The history of the universe provides the context. The present state of each system provides the conditions. Within those constraints, many possibilities remain. Every moment carries forward the consequences of what came before, while creating new conditions for what follows. From this perspective, matter is not simply stuff. It is a collection of stable patterns that persist through ongoing relationships. Life emerges as patterns become increasingly capable of organizing, adapting, learning, and creating new possibilities. Consciousness may represent another stage in that unfolding process. Perhaps it is neither separate from reality, nor merely a passive observer. Perhaps consciousness is one of the ways reality participates in shaping what happens next. Every thought influences perception. Every perception influences a decision. Every decision changes an action. Every action affects another person, system, or possibility. These effects ripple outward in ways we can rarely predict, altering the conditions inherited by future moments. Healing changes future choices. Learning changes future understanding. Love changes future relationships. Even a small moment of awareness can quietly reshape what becomes possible tomorrow. If this thesis contains even a measure of truth, consciousness is not simply something happening inside the universe. It may be one of the ways the universe explores itself, learns from itself, and creates new possibilities from the conditions already present. Throughout this series, we will examine this idea through physics, biology, complexity, artificial intelligence, and human experience, not in search of certainty, but in search of coherence. Because sometimes the most meaningful discoveries do not come from finding a new answer. They come from discovering a new way to ask the question. Most of the great questions humanity has asked throughout history begin with the word what. What is matter? What is consciousness? What is time? What is gravity? What is life? These are extraordinary questions, and they have driven some of our greatest discoveries. They have given us modern physics, biology, neuroscience, and philosophy. Yet despite all that we have learned, there remains a quiet feeling that something fundamental is still missing. We have become remarkably good at describing the pieces of reality, but perhaps we have spent less time asking how those pieces continually become the reality we experience from one moment to the next. What if we've been asking the wrong first question? Before asking what reality is, perhaps we should ask what reality is actually doing, rather than beginning with the objects we observe. Perhaps we should begin with the process that gives rise to those objects in the first place. Not what exists, but how existence continually unfolds. Every second, the universe changes. Stars burn their fuel. Rivers carve new paths through stone. Trees convert sunlight into living tissue. Your heart beats, neurons fire, thoughts arise. Galaxies slowly drift through space. Reality is never standing still. It is always becoming. This raises a remarkable question. How does the universe move from one moment to the next? It is tempting to imagine time as a conveyor belt carrying everything forward together. But that picture may be too simple. Every present moment seems to contain countless possibilities for what could happen next. An acorn may become an oak tree, nourish a squirrel, or decompose into the soil. A conversation may deepen a friendship, create a misunderstanding, or inspire an entirely new idea. A single mutation within a cell may disappear unnoticed or, over millions of years, become part of an entirely new species. The present is not simply leading toward one predetermined future. It appears to contain many possible futures simultaneously. Yet those possibilities are not unlimited. An acorn will never become a dolphin. A planet will not suddenly abandon gravity and drift away without cause. Water does not spontaneously freeze on a hot summer afternoon. The universe does not permit every imaginable future at the same time. It does not appear to dictate every future with perfect certainty either. Between impossibility and inevitability exists an enormous landscape of possibility. Some outcomes are extraordinarily unlikely, others are highly probable. Most exist somewhere between those two extremes, waiting for each new interaction to gently shift the balance. Perhaps it's the hidden rhythm of reality. Every present moment inherits the conditions created by everything that came before it. Those conditions establish the boundaries of what can happen next, while leaving room for many different possibilities to emerge. Each interaction, no matter how small, changes those conditions. Every change subtly reshapes the landscape inherited by the next moment. Reality is not repeatedly choosing from infinite possibilities. It is continually exploring the possibilities that remain available within the constraints of the present. If this perspective is correct, then the future is neither fixed nor completely open. It is constrained. The laws of nature provide boundaries. The history of the universe provides context. The current state of every system provides opportunity. Within those constraints, probabilities evolve continuously, moment by moment, interaction by interaction. This simple observation becomes the foundation of everything that follows. In the previous chapter, we explored the idea that every present moment contains many possible futures. Some are impossible, some are nearly certain. Most exist somewhere in between. But if this is true, an important question follows. What determines which futures become more likely than others? The answer may lie in what I call constrained conditional probabilities. The phrase combines three simple ideas. Conditional reminds us that every future depends on the conditions that exist right now. Probabilities reminds us that the future unfolds through many possible outcomes rather than absolute certainty. Constrained reminds us that not every future is available. Reality unfolds within boundaries established by the laws of nature, the history of every system, and the conditions of the present moment. Imagine standing on a mountain, overlooking an endless landscape of valleys, rivers, forests, and winding trails. Every valley represents a possible future. Some are broad and easy to reach. Others require crossing difficult mountains and may never be reached at all. As you take each step, the landscape subtly changes. Some paths become clearer while others slowly disappear. The future is not a single road waiting to be discovered. It is a landscape continually reshaped by the journey itself. Perhaps reality unfolds in much the same way. The present state of the universe defines what is possible next. Physical laws establish the boundaries. Gravity governs planets. Electromagnetism governs atoms. The nuclear forces govern the particles within every atomic nucleus. These laws do not dictate every detail of the future, but they define the range of futures that can occur. History shapes the landscape as well. Mountains exist because continents once collided. Forests exist because generations of trees scattered seeds. Your memories exist because past experiences reshape the connections between neurons. Every present moment carries the fingerprints of everything that came before. Current conditions matter just as much. A seed planted in fertile soil has different possibilities than one resting on solid rock. A child raised in safety inherits different opportunities than one raised in fear. The present is never empty. It is filled with conditions that quietly influence what becomes likely next. Every interaction then updates those probabilities. Imagine using a GPS while driving. Your destination remains the same, but every turn changes your current position. The GPS continually recalculates the best route because the conditions have changed. Reality may function similarly. Every interaction updates the present state, creating a new landscape of possibilities. The universe is not starting over each moment. It is continually reshaping what becomes possible from where it now stands. This pattern appears across every scale. We observe particles combine to form atoms. Atoms become molecules. Molecules organize into living cells. Cells cooperate to form brains capable of learning and awareness. Minds create families, cultures, civilizations, science, and technology. Planets form solar systems. Solar systems belong to galaxies, and galaxies weave together into the vast cosmic web. Each level inherits constraints from the level beneath it, while creating entirely new possibilities above it. Atoms obey quantum physics, yet together they create chemistry. Chemistry gives rise to biology. Biology gives rise to minds. Minds create language, art, ethics, science, and culture. Every new level builds upon the ones before it, without replacing them. Perhaps this is one of nature's deepest patterns. Reality does not simply become larger as complexity increases. It becomes richer. Every stable level of organization creates new constraints that make entirely new possibilities possible. Complexity is built not by escaping the rules beneath it, but by standing upon them. If this thesis is correct, the universe is not best understood as disconnected objects moving through empty space. It is better understood as an ever-changing landscape of constrained conditional probabilities, where every interaction quietly reshapes what can happen next. Each moment inherits the structure of the past, while creating the conditions from which the future emerges. Rather than asking what the universe is made of, we may begin asking something even deeper. How do relationships between possibilities continually give rise to everything we experience? One of the greatest mysteries in science and philosophy is not simply how the universe began, but how it became so remarkably complex. How does a universe that may have started with only energy, a handful of fundamental particles, and a few elegant physical laws eventually produce galaxies, oceans, forests, music, mathematics, and conscious beings capable of wondering about their own existence? How does simplicity give rise to complexity? Most explanations describe the mechanisms involved, but perhaps they do not fully explain the underlying pattern. This thesis offers one possible way of understanding that pattern. What if complexity is not something that is programmed into the universe from the beginning? What if it is something that gradually accumulates through the continual reshaping of constrained conditional probabilities? Imagine the earliest universe as possessing only a limited landscape of possibilities. As matter cooled and fundamental particles began interacting, stable relationships emerged. Some interactions lasted only fractions of a second before disappearing. Others proved remarkably stable. Those stable patterns persisted, and because they persisted, they became the foundation upon which new possibilities could emerge. Every successful relationship created a new level of organization, and every new level of organization introduced constraints that made even richer forms of organization possible. This process can be seen throughout nature. Individual particles combine to form atoms, atoms combine to form molecules, molecules organize into living cells. Cells cooperate to form organisms. Organisms create ecosystems. At every stage, the universe is not abandoning its previous structures but building upon them. Each stable pattern becomes the platform from which an entirely new landscape of possibilities unfolds. Complexity does not replace simplicity. It grows from it. Hydrogen never plans to become a star. Carbon never intends to become a living cell. DNA does not possess a vision of future civilizations. None of these systems are consciously directing the unfolding process. Yet over billions of years, as stable relationships accumulate and interact, the probability landscape gradually changes. Structures that were once impossible become increasingly likely. Life, which may have once represented an extraordinarily improbable arrangement of matter, eventually becomes possible because the universe has spent billions of years creating the conditions that allow it to emerge. This way of thinking also offers a different perspective on evolution. Evolution is often described as random mutation combined with natural selection. And within biology, that explanation remains extraordinarily powerful. But perhaps evolution itself exists within a much larger process. Random variation continually explores new possibilities, while the constraints of the environment determine which patterns remain stable enough to persist. Over immense periods of time, the accumulation of successful patterns reshapes the landscape of what becomes possible next. Complexity grows not because it was predetermined, but because each stable relationship opens doors that did not previously exist. Seen through this lens, emergence becomes less mysterious. Water possesses properties that cannot be found by examining a single hydrogen atom or a single oxygen atom in isolation. Life possesses qualities that cannot be fully explained by studying molecules alone. Consciousness possesses characteristics that cannot be understood simply by examining individual neurons one at a time. Each new level introduces behaviors and possibilities that arise from relationships rather than from the isolated parts themselves. Perhaps this is one of the deepest principles of reality. The universe does not merely produce more things over time. It produces new kinds of relationships. Those relationships create new constraints, and those constraints create entirely new landscapes of possibility. Complexity is not programmed into existence, like the blueprint of a finished building. It is the natural consequence of stable patterns accumulating across unimaginable spans of time. If this thesis is correct, then consciousness may not be an exception to nature's unfolding story. It may be another chapter within it, just as chemistry emerged from physics, and biology emerged from chemistry. Consciousness may represent another level of organization, made possible by billions of years of accumulated relationships. Rather than standing outside the universe, consciousness may be one of the universe's most remarkable expressions, a new way for reality to explore, understand, and continually reshape its own landscape of possibilities. Up to this point, we have explored the universe through physics, complexity, and the gradual emergence of increasingly sophisticated patterns. But eventually, the journey arrives at a more personal question. Where do we fit within this picture? More specifically, what role does consciousness play? Is awareness simply a byproduct of a remarkably complex brain? Or is it something entirely separate from the physical universe? These are often presented as the only two possibilities. But perhaps there is another perspective, one that neither removes consciousness from reality nor reduces it to an illusion. If reality unfolds through constrained conditional probabilities, then consciousness may not stand outside that process. Instead, it may participate within it. Awareness does not suspend the laws of nature or escape the conditions of the present moment. Rather, it becomes one of the ways those conditions are continually reshaped. Consider how a single moment of awareness can alter the course of a life. Someone reacting in anger pauses for just a second longer than usual. In that pause, they recognize the emotion instead of immediately acting on it. That recognition changes a decision. The decision changes a behavior. The behavior changes a conversation. The conversation changes a relationship. That relationship may influence a family, a workplace, or a child who carries that experience into adulthood. One moment of awareness quietly reshapes countless moments that follow. Perhaps this is the true power of consciousness. It does not rewrite the past or grant unlimited freedom. It changes probabilities. Every insight changes how we interpret future experiences. Every lesson influences future choices. Every skill expands possibilities that did not previously exist. Every act of kindness increases the likelihood of trust. Every habit repeated becomes easier to repeat again. Consciousness does not replace cause and effect. It becomes part of the causal fabric itself, continually influencing what becomes more or less likely tomorrow. Learning also begins to look different through this lens. We often think of learning as acquiring information, but perhaps learning is really the reshaping of the probability landscape through which future thoughts, decisions, and behaviors emerge. A child learning to read gains access to ideas that were previously unreachable. A musician practicing an instrument increases the likelihood of creating beautiful music. A scientist discovering a new principle changes the questions future generations can ask. Learning is not simply remembering facts. It is expanding what becomes possible next. This perspective also offers a beautiful way of understanding healing. Healing is rarely about erasing pain or returning to who we once were. The past cannot be undone. Every experience becomes part of the history that shapes the present. But healing changes our relationship with that history. And in doing so, it changes the future that history is likely to create. Someone who experienced betrayal may once believe trust is impossible. Someone living through grief may believe joy will never return. Someone who has long believed they are unworthy may reject every opportunity for love or success. Healing does not erase those memories. Instead, it reshapes the conditions from which future choices arise. Trust becomes possible again. Hope becomes more likely. Courage begins to outweigh fear. The past remains, but its influence changes. Perhaps this is one of consciousness's greatest gifts. Awareness allows reality to learn from itself. Every insight becomes a new condition. Every new condition creates a new landscape of possibility. Consciousness is not merely watching the universe unfold. It is participating in that unfolding, moment by moment, choice by choice, quietly influencing the futures that remain possible. If this thesis holds even a measure of truth, then healing, learning, wisdom, creativity, and love all share something profound in common. They are not exceptions to the laws of nature. They are examples of consciousness reshaping the probability landscape inherited by the next moment. The future is never completely rewritten, but it is continually being reimagined. And perhaps that is where our greatest freedom has always lived. Not in escaping reality, but in participating more consciously in its endless unfolding. At first glance, artificial intelligence may seem like an unusual topic in a discussion about consciousness and the nature of reality. AI is a human invention built from mathematics, computer science, and engineering. It is not conscious in the way humans experience consciousness, nor is it presented here as a model for what consciousness ultimately is. Instead, AI offers something incredibly valuable: a simple analogy for understanding how complex systems continually make predictions based on present conditions. When you ask a large language model a question, something remarkable happens beneath the surface. The model does not retrieve a perfect answer stored somewhere inside itself. Instead, it continually evaluates the conversation and asks a single guiding question. Given everything that has happened so far, what is most likely to come next? Every word changes the context. Every sentence reshapes the landscape of possibilities. The model estimates countless possible continuations before selecting one that best fits the conversation. It is not predicting without limits. It is predicting within constraints. Those constraints come from many sources. The model's architecture limits what it can represent. Its training data shapes the patterns it has learned. Grammar and logic determine which responses remain coherent. Most importantly, every new piece of information changes what becomes likely next. Some possibilities become more probable while others fade away. The result is not certainty, but a continually evolving landscape of constrained probabilities. The analogy becomes even more interesting when we look back at ourselves. Although we rarely think in terms of probabilities, our brains constantly anticipate what is likely to happen next. Walking through your home in the dark, you expect the floor to remain beneath your feet. When someone smiles, your mind immediately begins interpreting what that expression might mean. As you listen to music, you anticipate the next note. During conversation, you often begin forming a response before the other person has finished speaking. Modern neuroscience increasingly suggests that the brain is not simply reacting to the world after events occur. It is continually generating predictions and updating them as new information arrives. Every surprise becomes an opportunity to revise its internal model of reality. From this perspective, learning is the continual refinement of prediction. Viewed through this thesis, a broader pattern begins to emerge. Artificial intelligence updates probabilities using new context. The human brain updates expectations through experience. Living organisms adapt to changing environments. Ecosystems respond to shifting conditions. Evolution continually reshapes populations across generations. Although these systems operate through very different mechanisms, they share something fundamental in common. They continually adjust to the present in ways that reshape what becomes likely next. This does not mean the universe is literally a computer performing calculations. That would be a much stronger claim than the evidence supports. Rather, the analogy highlights a deeper principle. Every present state constrains the range of plausible future states. As conditions change, so do the possibilities that follow. Whether the system is a language model generating text, a brain making decisions, a forest adapting to changing seasons, or a galaxy evolving over billions of years, the future continually emerges from the conditions inherited from the present. Perhaps prediction itself is not merely a feature of intelligence. Perhaps it reflects something more fundamental woven throughout reality. Every system carries forward the consequences of its current state into what happens next. Consciousness reshapes possibilities through awareness. Learning reshapes them through experience. Evolution reshapes them across generations. Reality itself unfolds through an endless sequence of conditions, giving rise to new conditions. If this thesis is correct, artificial intelligence has offered us more than a technological revolution. It has given us a mirror, not because AI is conscious, but because it reveals a deeper pattern that may exist throughout nature itself. Whether we examine a conversation, the growth of a forest, the evolution of a species, or the motion of galaxies, the same elegant principle appears again and again. The present does not contain a single predetermined future. It contains the structured landscape of possibilities, continually updated by every interaction, every relationship, and every moment that unfolds. As we begin this next chapter, Settle into a comfortable position. Let your shoulders soften. Unclench your jaw. Take a slow breath in and a gentle breath out. There is nowhere you need to be and nothing you need to solve. Simply become present with this moment. Now imagine yourself standing on the summit of a peaceful mountain just before sunrise. The air is cool and still above you. A magnificent sky of deep blues, soft golds, and fading stars welcomes the coming dawn. Before you stretches an endless landscape of valleys, rivers, forests, and winding paths, reaching every horizon. This is not an ordinary landscape. It is a landscape of possibilities. Notice that every valley represents one possible future. Some are broad and easy to reach, shaped by familiar habits and familiar choices. Others lie beyond steep mountains that require courage, patience, or change. Some trails disappear into the morning mist. Others stretch confidently toward the horizon. None are guaranteed, and none are impossible without reason. They simply exist as possibilities. Now simply observe. Notice that the landscape is alive. Rivers slowly change course. Forests continue to grow. New paths quietly emerge while others gently fade away. Now begin walking. There is no destination you must reach. Simply take one peaceful step forward. As your foot touches the ground, something subtle happens. A distant trail becomes a little clearer. A hillside softens. Somewhere far away, a bridge appears where none existed before. One step has not determined the future. It has gently reshaped what becomes possible next. Take another step. Again, the landscape responds. Some pathways become easier to follow. Others slowly disappear. Every choice creates new conditions. Every condition opens new possibilities. There is no dramatic transformation, only the quiet unfolding of countless small changes, each gently influencing the next. Now pause and look behind you. The path you've already traveled has become part of the mountain itself. You cannot walk backward into yesterday, any more than a river can return to its source. Your past shaped who you are, but it no longer determines every path ahead. Turn forward once more. Notice that the future is not fixed. With every step, new pathways quietly appear. Some valleys deepen while others become less likely. The future continually responds to the present, not because every outcome has already been written, but because each moment creates the conditions from which the next emerges. Take a moment to feel the truth of that possibility. You were never trapped inside a single future, and you were never completely free to become absolutely anything. Instead, you have always been participating in something far more beautiful. Every act of kindness, every lesson learned, every fear released, every moment of courage, each has quietly reshaped the landscape you continue to walk through. allow your awareness to expand. Watch yourself rise above the mountains. Forests become patterns, rivers become silver threads. The earth slowly turns beneath you. The moon circles the earth. The earth circles the sun. The solar system drifts through the Milky Way. Galaxies gather into vast clusters, woven together across the universe, like an immense cosmic web. Notice that the same pattern appears everywhere. Atoms become molecules. Molecules become living cells. Cells become minds. Minds create civilizations. Stars become galaxies. Galaxies shape the universe. At every scale, relationships create new possibilities. At every scale, every interaction reshapes what becomes possible next. Perhaps this is the quiet rhythm that has always surrounded you. Not chaos and not destiny, but an endlessly evolving landscape of constrained possibilities. Take one final slow breath. Feel your place within this extraordinary unfolding. You are not separate from it. You never have been. You are one expression of a universe that has spent nearly 14 billion years learning, adapting, creating, and becoming aware of itself. As you gently return your attention to the room, carry this thought with you. The future is not waiting somewhere ahead to be discovered. It is being quietly shaped by this very moment. And perhaps it always has been. As we come to the end of this journey, let us return to the question that began it all. What is reality actually doing? Rather than searching for a final answer, we explored a different way of asking the question. Instead of beginning with matter, energy, or even consciousness, we began with the process through which the universe continually unfolds. Along the way, we considered a framework that may connect ideas from physics, biology, neuroscience, artificial intelligence, complexity science, and human experience. Perhaps reality is not fundamentally made of things. At first, that sounds strange. We naturally see mountains, trees, oceans, planets, animals, and people as separate objects. But look more closely, and those boundaries begin to soften. Mountains are shaped by gravity, weather, and tectonic forces. Trees exist through relationships with sunlight, soil, water, fungi, insects, and the atmosphere. Every person is shaped by genetics, experience, culture, and countless interactions with others. Perhaps what we call things are actually stable patterns within an endless web of relationships. Atoms exist through relationships between particles. Molecules emerge from atoms. Cells arise from cooperating molecules. Consciousness itself may emerge from billions of neurons continually exchanging information. At every level, interactions give rise to the patterns we recognize as objects. If this is true, reality may unfold not through certainty, but through constrained possibility. Every present moment carries forward the consequences of the past, while opening many possible futures. Some remain impossible because the laws of nature do not permit them. Others become increasingly likely because history, learning, and experience have quietly prepared the conditions for them to emerge. This perspective also changes how we see our own lives. The past has shaped us, but it does not completely determine what comes next. Every lesson learned, every act of compassion, every courageous conversation, and every fear met with understanding gently reshapes the landscape of future possibilities. We may not control every outcome, but we participate in what becomes more likely. It also invites humility. If reality is fundamentally relational, then nothing exists entirely on its own. Every discovery builds upon earlier discoveries. Every generation inherits the wisdom and mistakes of those before it. Every life influences countless others in ways we may never fully understand. We are not observers standing outside the universe. We are participants within an unfolding process billions of years in the making. Perhaps that is why curiosity matters so deeply. Science explores through observation, philosophy through reason, spiritual traditions through direct experience, art through creativity, love through relationship. Each becomes another way. The universe explores its own possibilities. This brings us back to the central idea of this video. The universe may be understood as an ever-evolving network of constrained conditional probabilities, where every present moment inherits the structure of the past, while quietly reshaping the possibilities of the future. Whether this framework ultimately proves correct remains an open question. Like any meaningful scientific or philosophical idea, it should be examined, challenged, refined, and tested. The goal has never been to replace one certainty with another, but to offer a perspective that helps us see familiar questions in a new light. If this thesis contains even a measure of truth, then one final possibility emerges. Consciousness is not separate from reality. It is not merely watching the universe unfold. It may be one of the ways reality learns, one of the ways reality adapts, one of the ways reality reflects upon itself, and one of the ways reality continues exploring its own infinite landscape of possibilities. Perhaps that is what it is meant to be conscious all along, not to stand apart from the universe, but to participate in its endless unfolding. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If these ideas spark new questions, stay curious, read widely, think deeply, question your assumptions, including the ones we've explored here. Understanding reality has never been about reaching the end of the conversation. It has always been about continuing it. Until next time, take care of yourself, stay open to wonder, and remember that every moment you live is quietly helping shape the possibilities of the next. Your heart is ready, and whenever you need a reminder, I'll be right here.